What if there was an ancient book that claimed we've been using the wrong calendar for thousands of years? A book that insists angels were created before light, that demons are the restless spirits of dead giants, and that every major event in the Bible was written in heaven long before it happened on earth. This book exists. It's called the Book of Jubilees. For centuries, it was almost unknown outside Ethiopia. Hidden in the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, ignored or condemned by most other churches. But why? The Bible tells us God once almost wiped out humanity with the Great Flood, one of the most severe acts of judgment in all of Scripture. But the Bible doesn't go into detail. What evil was so extreme that the Creator decided to reset the world? Genesis gives us a few cryptic lines. The Book of Jubilees fills in the blanks with terrifying detail, and that's just the beginning. This book claims to reveal the real reason behind the flood, the secret history of angels, demons, and giants, a divinely designed solar calendar, and a cosmic law written on heavenly tablets before the world began. So, what exactly is in this book? Why did some communities treat it as sacred, while others banned or destroyed it? Stay with me as we travel back 2,000 years to uncover 10 secrets of the Book of Jubilees, and why many thought it was too dangerous to survive. Part 1. The World of Jubilees Turbulence, Rebellion, and Hidden Scrolls. It's around 200 BC. Judea is a land under pressure. Foreign empires come and go, Greek culture spreads across the region. Traditional Jewish life is caught between resistance and assimilation. This is the Maccabean era, a time of uprisings, persecution, and intense debate over how to remain faithful to God. In this world, questions explode. Who truly speaks for God? What is the correct way and time to worship Him? And who has the authority to decide? Some groups rally around the temple in Jerusalem, with its priests and sacrifices. Others withdraw into their own communities, convinced the temple is corrupted. It's in this landscape that the Book of Jubilees appears. But Jubilees doesn't speak softly. It doesn't just comment on Scripture, it rewrites it, retelling the stories of Genesis and Exodus with bold new details. And at the center of this retelling is a major controversy: the calendar war in ancient Judaism. The temple in Jerusalem used a lunar calendar to set feast days and festivals. Months were based on the phases of the moon. It was a system tied deeply to temple authority, but Jubilees claims something radically different. According to this book, God gave Moses a 364-day solar calendar on Mount Sinai. 364 days, 52 exact weeks, 4 perfectly balanced seasons, everything fits neatly, no leftover days, no drifting through the year. In Jubilees, this isn't just a neat mathematical trick. It's presented as the only correct calendar, a system written on heavenly tablets and revealed by a high-ranking angel called the Angel of the Presence. If that's true, it means the calendar used by the temple and the religious establishment is wrong. You can imagine how well that went over. For those who followed the temple's lunar calendar, Jubilees wasn't just a disagreement, it was a direct challenge to their authority. It's one thing to argue about a date, it's another to say, "Our calendar is from God, yours is chaos." So Jubilees was too dangerous. In many circles it became rejected, sidelined or destroyed, hidden, lost, and found again. For centuries the book disappeared from mainstream Judaism and from most Christian traditions. But then in the mid-20th century, Bedouin shepherds in the Judean desert made a discovery that changed biblical studies forever. They stumbled upon ancient caves near the Dead Sea, filled with jars and scrolls, what we now call the Dead Sea Scrolls. Among them, fragments of the Book of Jubilees in Hebrew. This confirmed two things. Jubilees was very old, likely written around the 2nd century BC. It was deeply important to groups like the Qumran community who preserved these scrolls. But even more surprising, while much of the world forgot Jubilees, one ancient church never did. Far away in East Africa, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church kept Jubilees inside its Bible as sacred scripture. Their long tradition and geographic isolation protected it from the pressures that led other churches to discard it. Because of Ethiopia, we don't just have fragments, we have the full text, and in that text, Jubilees makes a staggering claim about itself. It says it isn't just a book written by humans. It is a revelation dictated by the angel of the presence to Moses during the 40 days he spent on Mount Sinai. Time is measured in Jubilees cycles of 49 years, and every major event is tied to these cycles as if all of history is a perfectly choreographed timeline. According to this book, nothing important just happens. It has all been carefully planned, written on heavenly tablets, and revealed at the right moment. With that framework in mind, we can finally step into the secrets themselves. Secret 1. Before let there be light, angels, Sabbath and heavenly tablets. Jubilees opens not just with the creation of the world, but with events before the world we know. In Genesis we read, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, then let there be light." In Jubilees, we're told that before light ever shined, the upper heavens were already made a primordial earth, and waters existed, and the angels were created, including the angels of the presence, and angels set over natural forces. This means in Jubilees, the universe is populated from the start. An unseen spiritual world exists before the visible one. Even more surprising is what Jubilees says about the Sabbath. In many readings of the Bible, the Sabbath is first given to Israel in the Ten Commandments, a special day of rest after the Exodus. Jubilees claims something far more radical. The Sabbath was established before the creation of heaven and earth. It existed as a cosmic reality written on the heavenly tablets long before people walked the earth. So when humans later receive the Sabbath, they aren't getting a new idea. They are being invited into an eternal rhythm that has existed from the beginning. The Garden of Eden is reimagined too. Adam and Eve, Jubilees says, were not just naked and unarmed. They were clothed in garments of light, shining garments that almost give them an angelic status, reflecting their dignity before the fall. And then there is the serpent. Genesis hints at something more behind the snake, but never explicitly names it. Jubilees does. The serpent is identified directly as Satan. From humanity's first days, Jubilees portrays history as part of a larger spiritual conflict. Not just a story about people and mistakes, but a war involving angels, heavenly laws, and a very real enemy. The theme becomes clearer with the next secret. Secret 2. The Flood. The Watchers and the Birth of Demons Jubilees dives deep into one of the most mysterious parts of Genesis, the days before the flood. Genesis mentions the sons of God, Nephilim, and increasing wickedness, but says little more. Jubilees fills in the gaps with a dramatic storyline. It introduces the Watchers, powerful angels who come down to earth. At first, their mission seems noble. They want to guide humanity in righteousness. But things go horribly wrong. They begin teaching humans forbidden knowledge, sorcery and magical arts astrology, advanced weapon-making, cosmetics and adornments used to deceive and seduce. What starts as knowledge becomes a weapon. Then comes the turning point. The Watchers become captivated by human women. They cross a boundary never meant to be crossed. From these unions come beings called Nephilim giants, hybrid creatures of enormous size and strength. Jubilees describes them as always hungry. At first they consume all the food meant for humans. When that runs out, they turn on the animals, and when that's not enough, they begin to devour humans. The earth is drenched in violence. Injustice becomes a way of life. But behind this horror, Jubilees introduces another key figure. Mastema is described as the prince of hatred, the leader of evil spirits, the mastermind of corruption. He is the one who incites the Watchers to rebel. He orchestrates the spread of wickedness that leads to the flood. God responds by deciding to judge both heaven and earth. The Watchers are imprisoned for their crimes, the giants are destroyed, and the earth is cleansed by a great flood. But here's where Jubilees takes an unexpected turn. When God prepares to destroy all the evil spirits born from the Nephilim, Mastema steps forward with a disturbing request. He argues that if all the spirits are destroyed, there will be no one left to test humanity, to expose their loyalty or disloyalty to God's law. He asks permission to keep 1/10 of these spirits under his authority, and according to Jubilees, God allows it. Those remaining spirits become what Jubilees calls demons, the restless spirits of dead Nephilim, beings who can't find peace because they were never meant to exist in the first place. So in this book, demons are not fallen angels. They are the disembodied spirits of destroyed giants, born from forbidden unions between heaven and earth. The flood, then, is not just God starting over with humanity. It is the climax of a war in the spiritual realm, a strike against a specific corruption that blended angelic and human, but because of Mastema's cunning evil, doesn't disappear. It remains smaller, but active, explaining, in Jubilees' view, why demonic temptation and spiritual warfare continue throughout history.